And welcome. All right, today is our new Sagittarius New Moon Astrology and Aromatherapy class. And I'm so excited to have you all here. And it's nice to see some familiar faces I haven't seen in a while, like yours, Carla. That's so great. And I appreciate you all being here and taking the time. And like I said before, I just want to say happy birthday again to Tracy from yesterday. That's so exciting. Yay, I love birthdays. It's so fun. Okay, hi, welcome. Okay, so what I want to do is just first talk, we're just gonna kind of drop in and just create a little space together. So if you have some essential oils, or if you have Eucalyptus Blue Gum and Laurel Leaf, let's go ahead and use those. And if you don't, that's fine. If you have something else, use that. And if nothing, then just start to kind of connect into nature. That's really all that they are in a lot of ways, is giving us bridges to connect in. So ways that I like to use them, you can use them on the crown of your head. You could use them like on your temples. Your throat is a great place. Your chest. So I'll just stick my hand down my shirt right here in the video. Or like on your tummy, you know, your feet. Those are all excellent places to use essential oils. So using those, then we'll just start to, you know, feel into your seat and where you're sitting. You can close our eyes and then just kind of let your body feel heavy as you start to drop into your seat, the couch, your chair. Start to feel your feet on the ground. And just let your attention drop you into your body. Let go of everything from today, what you needed to do to get here, to arrive here, busy, crazy, relaxed, whatever it is. Just start to feel your body and be here right now. And as you breathe, just let your breath drop all the way down into your hips, your pelvis, maybe even down into your legs, your feet. And just start to feel your energy reaching down into the earth, into the dirt, through the layers, all the way down into the core. You could imagine little roots growing from your body, from your feet, like the plants, reaching down into the soil, grounding you. You feel like a magnet. That core of the earth is magnetic and just pulling your energy in and grounding you. If you're using the essential oils, they're a bridge into connecting to the earth and nature and the energies of the earth. And then from that grounded place, however far you can reach down, however long you can grow your roots, there's no right or wrong way to do it. At the same time, start letting your energy reach up to the moon. That's what we're here to celebrate tonight, the new moon. And the way that you know where that new moon is it's right where the sun is. So if you can sense into where the sun is right now, the moon is right there. And just like you have your roots reaching down into the earth, let's have little branches reaching up towards the moon, energetic branches. Your energy, however you like to think about it, little lines of light, so that you're just simultaneously connecting into the earth and connecting up to the moon. That Sagittarius, fiery moon that we're here to celebrate tonight. And then just without knowing everything about Sagittarius or the essences we're going to learn tonight, just start feeling whatever you notice with the energy, whatever you've been feeling today, this afternoon, right now, as you start to connect in, and just begin formulating your intention that you want to create for tonight, that you want to set, or the seeds that you want to plant for this new moon cycle. You may already have them, you may already know, or you may have no idea at all, but just let that start kind of percolating as we start moving through the class. And then taking a deep breath, we'll just bring our attention back to the circle of all of us here together right now. And then opening your eyes as you feel ready. And then I am going to start off by sharing my screen. I made slides for tonight. I'm a total slide person, and I didn't have a lot of slides last time. So, oh, not this slide. This is a different person's. That's someone's chart I'm reading afterwards. Okay, let's share the right slides. Here we go. Boom. Okay. Ta-da. It's just going to take a second to load because it goes slow when it's on Zoom. All right. I'm going to move this over to the side. Okay, so here we go. We can see the slides right here, right now. And sorry, I'm just going to quick change to thumbnail. Perfect. Okay, excellent. All right, here we go. So this is a snapshot. This is the birth chart, essentially. This is the astrological chart of the new moon at the exact moment of the new moon this morning, which was at 8:05 a.m. for me here in Aspen, Colorado, right? So if you're on the East Coast, it's a couple hours later. If you're on the West Coast, an hour earlier. And you can see right here, it's in the morning, the yellow circle around the moon, which is pretty easy to see what that symbol is because it looks just like the crescent moon. And the sun is the little bullseye symbol. So you can see they were both at 4 Sagittarius. That's the little arrow. 3. We won't worry about that. So when it's the new moon, we talked about this last time too, it's when the sun and the moon are traveling together. That's why we can't see the moon. We can only see the moon when it's a little bit away from the sun because it's the sun's light that shines on the moon. And I have another image I wanted to show you of that, but I just wanted you to kind of see that. And also to see how cool that it's a Sagittarius sun and moon because they're together, but also Sagittarius rising. So it's like this triple Sagittarius off the charts time right now, which is not always the case. If the new moon was happening right now, it wouldn't be a Sagittarius rising. So it's that changes every couple of hours throughout the day, but I just thought it was kind of cool to see how this new moon is just Sagittarius, you know, Sagittarius gone wild, shall we say. And even we'll talk a little bit more. There's some other things. There's a lot of stuff going on in Sagittarius right now. Okay, next slide. So I just want you to kind of give you another visual of it. So if we're here on the Earth and there's the moon between us and the sun, when it's exactly between us, it causes a solar eclipse, which is not happening, but this gives you the idea of why we can't see the new moon because all the lights on the other side that we can't see. So I just thought that's kind of a cool way just to kind of know and understand. So when it's the full moon, it's the opposite. It's on the opposite side, right? So if this chart was for the full moon, the moon would be over here in this 7th house because it's the full moon, all the light shining, it's on the opposite side of us. So I just think it's kind of cool to know and understand like what is actually going on. But so the new moon is a time of to plant seeds, to set intentions. It's like a seed point, they call it, or a restart. It's a time for new beginnings. So I like to, you know, set these new moon intention for this moon cycle, right? I'm not setting an intention for all of 2020 necessarily, or for the rest of my life, right? There can be this kind of pressure to just sort of like do it all the time. So I like to set intention for this moon cycle. And another way to think of it is like the new moon is the start. So it's almost like the month is starting fresh right now. Like it's December 1st, even though it's not, right? We have this kind of artificial calendar cycle, but indigenous people, the new moon was like the start of the new month, right? So I think it's just kind of a cool way to think about it and pay attention to it. Ancient people couldn't see the new moon, right? We can't see the new moon either. So they considered the new moon the moment the crescent showed up, just the little sliver, and they considered that the new moon, but we call it the new moon just before that. Okay, so, and when the moon is with the sun, whatever the moon is near, it tends to illuminate and energize and bring energy to that energy, right? Energy. So Sagittarius energy. So let's talk about what's getting energized. Sagittarius, whoop, whoop. So Sagittarius is the archer, right? So one way you can kind of think of Sagittarius is like, it's like that, it's the arrow that's pulled back and it's ready to release and go way off far, right? So Sagittarius is a fire sign, and fire signs are all about intuition and just knowing and taking action. Where like water signs are about feelings, earth signs are about sensation, air signs are about like thinking in the mental capacity. Fire is about intuition and knowing and acting, right? So that starts to tell us something about Sagittarius. It's considered an in-service to spirit sign. So in Shamanic Astrology, we break the signs down into in service to spirit, self-exploration, and culture bearer, which in more traditional astrology would be like cardinal, mutable, fixed, if you've ever heard any of those. So in service to spirit signs are relatively self-explanatory, right? Whatever they're doing, their mission is always about serving the spiritual side of things. All of the signs have a spiritual path, whether they're a water sign or an air sign, but their path isn't necessarily to be in service to spirit. Their spiritual path may be self-love or something else. Sagittarius is in service to spirit, and we'll talk about that a little bit more as we get further down the bullets. It's right-brained, right? So it's not left brain linear, it's more circular, it's right-brained, but it is a more masculine energy, not meaning it's male, just that it's more masculine, like yang, action-taking, what else could I say? I don't know, you get it, masculine. Okay, so now we start to kind of drill into Sagittarius specifically. So it's the lover of the truth, loves truth with a capital T, truth and meaning. So it's all about, it's like spiritual path is to boldly go into new territory, to question all like dogma and cemented truths, right? It wants to know what is the truth with the capital T. It's, you know, in service to spirit through like freedom and liberation. It's on a spiritual quest all the time. That's like one of the most important things to Sagittarius, is being on this spiritual quest. Truth and meaning. It's, you know, it's on a quest for truth and meaning, purpose and meaning. These things are really important to Sagittarius. It's always about like, it's seeking the truth, it's seeking meaning in life, it's seeking like, it's asking the big questions like, why are we here? What's the meaning of life? What's my purpose? Not all the signs think that way, right? Other signs have different focus. So this is very all Sagittarius stuff. That spiritual quest. It's the sign that's on a vision quest, right? That's a very Sagittarius thing, would be to go on a traditional vision quest or some sort of a modern way of doing that. It's always in that exploration for meaning and purpose in everything that it does. It values freedom and change and growth. It doesn't want to be like held down, right? It's that arrow that wants to be released. You can't like box it in, hold it back. It's boldly going where no one has gone before, right? That's its total mission. It's always doing different things. It has a lot of enthusiasm. It's loves adventure. It's the pioneer, the explorer, the visionary. You could think of like the Lewis and Clark expeditions. That's a very Sagittarius type thing. Bless you. It's you know, its purpose is always about finding that deeper spiritual meaning, those deeper spiritual truths, those expanded states of consciousness, new horizons. It's looking for new visions, new frontiers, expansion. Jupiter is, in traditional astrology, they would say that Jupiter rules Sagittarius, but in shamanic astrology, we don't like that like rulership. It sounds like one is in dominion over the other. We say a resonant energy, and Jupiter is all about expansion, that same type of thing. So you can see how those two link up. You know, higher truths, that expanded consciousness leads to expanded hearts. And it's perfect to have it be this time of year leading up to the solstice, which traditionally is the start of the new year again, right? So it's like December 21st is more kind of like January 1st, just like today the new moon is more like December 1st, right? So it's leading into that time of starting the new year, having a new vision, creating a new experience, having a new purpose for the year ahead. So, you know, you can't make these things up, right? It's just the perfect time leading into the solstice that's coming this month. Okay, that's what I want to say about Sagittarius there. So if anybody has a question, feel free to, you know, unmute yourself, ask, or save your questions for the end. And now I want to start diving into the two essential oils that I think really serve that Sagittarius energy, support us in that Sagittarius energy: Laurel Leaf and Eucalyptus Blue Gum. So we'll talk about Laurel Leaf first. So Laurel Leaf, called Laurus nobilis, is bay leaves, right? So you can see that here in the picture. These are bay leaves that we use in cooking, right? That's what laurel leaf is. And here you can see the actual a bush, just so you could kind of have like a context of it. So laurel leaf is an evergreen shrub or a small tree. It can be that big. It's native to the Mediterranean. So you see it's a lot in like Italian cooking and Greek cooking and that kind of thing, right? Because that's where it's native to. It's steamed, the essential oil is steam distilled from the leaves. And Laurus nobilis actually means, Laurus means to praise, and nobilis is renowned or famous. And so it's a symbol of triumph and achievement to the ancient Greeks and Romans. They wore crowns of laurel, which you see by the generals who won would be crowned with the laurel leaves. Emperors, poets. In medieval times, scholars and graduates were crowned with the wreaths of laurels. And you still see it in a lot of like college logos and banners, is laurel leaves on the side, right? So baccalaureate, right? You get your bachelor's degree. Poet laureate, right? So it's something that's used a lot in our society. We just don't know the history and where that all came from. So laurel leaf, what it's good for, I'll break it down into a couple of slides. The first one will talk more about the spiritual uses, because that's what we're here for today in our new moon ceremony. So here's another picture of laurel leaf, and you can see the leaves. It's visionary, right? It helps you on the vision quest. Prophecy, courage. It gives you spiritual backbone, stamina, fortitude, all kinds of things that you need on a spiritual quest, or that quest for truth, you know, the truth that is distilled down away from like the influx of information that we're constantly getting on the internet and everywhere we turn, right? It awakens our life force, that energy, right? Our life force, that's what we're moving down into the earth and what we're reaching up to the moon. It helps awaken that. It's a protection essence. Inspiration, right? It's considered a very fiery type of energy, even though when I think of bay leaves and putting them in a stew, it doesn't scream like fire or hot or heat to me, but it is considered to be more of like that fire element. Intuition, inner vision, self-esteem. It's a huge aid for working with fear and anxiety, right? So that can kind of come from not always having that purpose, or, you know, having fear, those types of things. It's very uplifting. It promotes alertness, right? So I think it's perfect to use for Sagittarius. So it would be like if you're trying to connect into that Sagittarius energy more for yourself, right? Creating the vision for this month, creating the vision for next year coming at the solstice, Laurel Leaf would help you do that, okay? And the physical properties, so it's considered the queen of the lymphatic system. So anytime you have anything going on in your body, the lymphatic system is a component of that and is supports that, right? So your immune system is the true healer of the body, and it does that a lot through the lymphatic system. So it's the queen of the lymphatic system. It helps with inflammation and fluid retention. So it helps move swelling out of areas. It's great for breast congestion. And so Barry, who's one of the founders of Wisdom of the Earth, the company that I like to work with the essential oils, talks about Laurel Leaf is amazing for times when, he calls it, free radicals have taken up shop in the breast, and it could be diagnosed as cancer, right? So we're not like saying, you know, the big C word, but Laurel Leaf is great for supporting breast health. It's digestive, so it's a kitchen herb. So it's the essential oil made from something that we use to cook with, bay leaves, right? So all kitchen herbs are good for digestive system disorders, all digestive stuff, right? It's a diuretic, so it helps move that fluid out of the body. It stimulates the liver. It's antiviral, antifungal, and it's expectorant. So it's a really good one for this time of the year when we start to get sick or we're exposed to things, we're getting cold, we get a little run down, not to mention we're moving into that like busy holiday time and maybe eating things we don't normally eat. Laurel Leaf is a huge support. So it's not only helpful for this time, but it's also helpful for this time with the bigger T of Sagittarius. Okay, and Eucalyptus Blue Gum. So pretty, isn't it? So Eucalyptus globulus is Eucalyptus Blue Gum, and it is native to Australia. And it can be a huge tree, like over 300 feet tall. It's one of the world's like tallest trees. It gets really, really tall. There's over 700 varieties of eucalyptus, all native to Australia, which is pretty cool. 500 of them are known for making essential oils. So Wisdom of the Earth has 7 different types of eucalyptus, and Eucalyptus Blue Gum is just one of them. So it's steam distilled from the leaves and the twigs, and just like laurel that we talked about before is steam distilled from the leaves, Eucalyptus Blue Gum is steam distilled from the leaves. The leaves are the breathing apparatus of the tree, right? That's how the tree brings in oxygen and brings in carbon dioxide and releases oxygen. So function follows form. So any essence that's steam distilled from the leaves helps the respiratory system, right? So you can think about the part that it's distilled from has a specific effect on the part of the human body as well. So I think that's just kind of a cool thing to know. Okay, so what do we use Eucalyptus Blue Gum for? So life force connection. Again, that connection to that deeper energy, speaking our truth. That's something Laurel's known for as well, helping us speak our truth, which Sagittarius is all about truth, optimism, freedom again, right? Just like Sagittarius, it's all about freedom, clarity. It's energizing. It helps with spiritual and emotional blockages, like in our heart, in our respiratory system, things where we're like collapsing. Eucalyptus helps open up and release that. So things that are getting in our way, vitality, having a positive outlook, promotes a wider perspective. That's all Sagittarius, right? Sagittarius is all about seeing all the possibilities, the widest perspective. That's how it's in service to spirit, is it goes out and seeks the truth in the spiritual quest and can bring the information back for the rest of us mere mortals, right? That's Sagittarius's path. Adventure, inspiration, and helps feelings of stuckness and constriction. So if you're feeling like you just kind of like can't quite get going, you're kind of can't get out of your own way, right? It's holding you back from your visions of your life, yourself. Eucalyptus Blue Gum helps that. So if you're kind of more like getting into the shadow side of Sagittarius, it helps you come into the lighter side of Sagittarius. And on a physical level, Eucalyptus Blue Gum is great for the respiratory system. It's an expectorant, just like Laurel. It's antibacterial, antiviral. It's huge for colds and flus and bronchitis and sinusitis, like sinus irritation, laryngitis, all that kind of stuff. Eucalyptus is amazing for boosting your immunity, right? The true healer of the body, and help cleansing the urinary system. So kind of like Laurel Leaf, that diuretic. So they both do that. And again, the way that I would use these is if I, from a spiritual perspective, is if I'm trying to cultivate more of that Sagittarius energy, if I'm trying to create those visions, if I'm sitting in meditation, trying to vision my intentions for the solstice, this new moon, I would use eucalyptus and laurel, one or the other, both, right? However, you could use them on the crown of your head, you can use them your temples, your throat, along your spine, your chest, your stomach, the bottom of your feet, anywhere like that. So that is what I want to say about that. And then let's do our new moon ceremony now. Okay, so if you have your candle, let's go ahead and light our candles. And we'll get that fire element. So last time we did water. This time it's for Scorpio. This time it's fire. Oh, look at that, makes a nice like glow for me on the video. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take a couple minutes and just settle into what we want our intention to be for this new moon cycle. Yes, go for it if you have like bigger aspirations. Don't feel limited by what I'm saying, but I want to encourage you not to make like this laundry list of everything you're setting an intention for this month, because it can be like too much, too many things to accomplish, and we can feel like we haven't really done anything because we made our list too big, right? So I like to just have one intention for this new moon cycle, one seed that I want to plant. And so we're just going to take a couple minutes quietly and just settle into that. You could write it down, you can think it, whatever you are drawn to doing. And we'll just sit for a moment. And then once you're clear on what your intention or your one seed that you want to be planting for this new moon cycle, you can write it down and burn it in the candle flame. If you have somewhere to put a burning piece of paper right there with you. Or another thing I love to do is to whisper it into the flame. And then when you're done, blow it out and the smoke takes it up into the air, to the moon, to the cosmos. So whatever you feel drawn to do, or if you have another thing that you like to do, by all means, go for that. If you don't have a candle, you could just whisper it into the air. You could write it, burn it later, whatever works for you. So we'll take a few minutes to do that now. And then just feel that seed is planted through the energy, the roots into the earth, and the seed is planted through our branches, reaching to the moon. So all of the energy of the earth and the moon and the cosmos is helping to support us and hold us in that intention for this new moon cycle. And then just before I finish the recording, I'm going to share the screen again because I just wanted to show you something else that's cool that's going on in the sky right now. So we know from the first slides that the moon and the sun are traveling together. That's the new moon. So the new moon is always in the sign that the sun is in. And the full moon is always in the opposite sign because it's in opposition to the sun. But also simultaneously, while we have all this Sagittarius stuff going on, we have, starting tomorrow, the little crescent moon will start to rise, right? So this is in the evening sky. So the sun has just set behind these black earth formations. The 27th, we have the crescent moon, and Jupiter and Venus. Right here where I am, it's snowing, so you can't see the sky. But a couple of nights ago, it was clear. And Venus and Jupiter are really bright in the sky right now. So it's kind of cool just to be able to see, especially if you're not used to knowing what everything is in the sky. The moon we know, the sun is easy. But after sunset, about 15 minutes or so afterwards, if it's clear where you are, the two brightest stars you'll see, Venus is the brightest, and then Jupiter's the next brightest, and they're right together, and they're both in, wait for it, Sagittarius, right? So we have like the sun, the moon, the rising this morning, Jupiter, Venus, all in Sag. We're in like a major Sag soup right now. And Sagittarius with Venus is a symbol of the divine feminine, the sacred feminine. And Jupiter is that sign of expansion. So we could say, or vision creation. So it's like we're creating a new vision of the feminine in this, all of this Sagittarius visioning energy as we move into the solstice to the new year. And I just think that's a beautiful thing to know about. And then the crescent moon will just keep moving. It'll start here tomorrow night. The next night on Thanksgiving, it'll be right next to Venus. So Venus and the moon will be conjunct right together. So that means the moon will be lighting up that feminine energy of Sagittarius. And then the next night, the moon will be with Saturn, and Pluto is there. You can't see Pluto, but you can see Saturn still. So I just thought that was kind of cool things to be aware of if you're out at night, and check it out and just kind of connect to that cosmos. Just like you go for a hike and you connect to the trees or the wind in the trees and the plants, connecting to the cosmos is part of, you know, what increases our consciousness being here on the planet and helps us with these seeds that we're planting. So I'm just going to close things out, stop the recording, and then we'll open it up and we can like talk, and I can answer questions about astrology, aromatherapy, any of the above. So just before I end the recording, I want to say the next new moon aromatherapy and astrology class will be on the Capricorn new moon, and the new moon is actually on Christmas Day. So we're going to meet on the 26th. And generally the energies of like the new moon are present for the day before, the day of, and the day after. So it'll be just perfect. We can still set our intentions, but I think Christmas might be just a little too much for everyone. But just know, wherever you are, the new moon is on Christmas this year. We'll do the same thing at 4 o'clock on the 26th, the 4 o'clock Mountain Time on the 26th. And the essential oils that we'll use will be sweet birch and frankincense, which I thought is a perfect one for Christmas as well. So for all of you listening later, thanks for being here. And now I will end the recording. And